Oh, wow. I ain't never heard that one before. Anyway, welcome to the call, guys. I hope you're blessed. Shout out to each and every single one of you that are here. I'm excited, man, as I am each and every single Monday. But here's the deal. I got a question I want to ask you. Everybody knows what they want, without a doubt. Most people have identified that they want to go chairman. They want to become a millionaire. They want to break generational curses. Everybody has an idea of what it is that they want. My question for you is, what are you willing to give up to get that? Because that's the challenge for a lot of people. It's not the thing that is a challenge. The thing that's a challenge is giving up something to get the thing, right, that they want. Because that's where the rubber really meets the road, man. And for a lot of people, the thing that has to be given up is a way of thinking. For a lot of people, the thing that has to be given up, maybe relationships, people that you're connected to. For some people, it may be your habits outside of business, because remember, how you do anything is how you do everything. So what are you willing to give up to get the thing that you want? Ego, yeah, you got to let that go too. A lot of people don't want to give up their ego. A lot of people are trapped and they can't make millions because they have that ego. They can't get to the next level because they have that ego, right? Environments, things like that. What are you willing to give up to get the thing that you want, to get what you picture, right? And another reason a lot of people aren't willing to give things up in the present is because they don't understand that the person that they're going to become, or the person that they should become, right, can be here a lot faster if they can identify with that person, and they're willing identify with that person in the future and willing to give up something in the present, and that can expedite the process of that person becoming you, right? Does that make sense? So I have this idea of what I want. So I watched this documentary on Netflix the other day. Right. I watched this documentary on Netflix. I forgot the name of it, but it was talking about money and things of that sort. And the last video that I saw, it talked about retirement. Right. And in that final video that was talking about retirement, it had people identify or put them on the test to figure out how do they identify with certain things. So when they put the monitor on the individuals, the first test that they did, they wanted to see how well a person's brains respond or mind responds when they think about the person that they are today. I need you to really listen to this, right? A lot of people, when they put the test onto their head and they had them think about the person that they are today, the meter would just be like just going crazy, because that person can see their life in their mind today. They can see what they look like, all of that. So the meter or the mind was able to really move the meter a whole lot. The second thing that it had them identify with, yes, that's what it was called, Money Explained. The second thing that it had them identify was a stranger. It wanted to register how well the mind responded to a stranger. Right? No, let me backtrack. The first one was them in their present self. The second one was their past self, I believe. The second one was their past self. And when they identified with their past self, their mind, again, could register that. But then when they got to a stranger, which was the third test, their mind couldn't identify a stranger. Their mind couldn't really pick up on a stranger. And then it had them think about another stranger. So they said, think about another stranger. Let's see if your mind can pick up on that. They had them do it again. Their mind couldn't pick up on the second stranger. And then they went all the way back and said, we want you to think about yourself 10 years from now, because they wanted to see how the mind would register if that person thought about themselves 10 years from now. When they thought about themselves 10 years from now, it registered the same way as it did when they asked them to identify with a stranger. What am I telling you? Most people have a challenge. They have a very, very hard time looking at themselves in the future, identifying with their future selves. And because they can't identify with their future selves, they make bad decisions in the present. They're lazy in the present. They don't do the things that they need to do in the present. They don't sacrifice in the present, because the person that we're talking about, your future self, many people cannot identify with that person. It's a study done to prove that. Like, you thinking about yourself 10 years from now, for a lot of people, if you haven't really thought about that, it's going to be a challenge for you to think about, what does life look like 10 years from now? So what do you got to do? You got to get to a point where you can develop an image of yourself for the future. When you develop that image for yourself for the future, it's easy to do, right? The things that needed to be done in the present. It's easy to sacrifice in the present because you're sacrificing for the sake of your future self. You recognize that your future self, where you're going, the person that you could become, is a whole lot better, a whole lot grander than what you are today. But not many people can do that because they haven't gotten the vision for tomorrow. And again, that's why it's a challenge for many people to do the work that's required today. See what JVL just talked about, 18 events this week for him and AB or AB. The reason why it's simple for them to do that is because they've identified what life looks like for them, or for AB at chairman, right? He recognizes what my life is going to look like when I'm a chairman. So because I recognize what life looks like at chairman 10, I'm willing to sacrifice everything that needs to be sacrificed to get the result. I may not have the result right now, but I won't succumb to instant gratification. And that's why a lot of people can't win the money game. That's why a lot of people can't win the game of life, Ms. Jayana, because they don't sacrifice who they are today for the person that they could be tomorrow, because they haven't identified with that person yet. You have to identify with your future self. Like, since I've been in this business, or since I've been an entrepreneur since I was 23 years old, one thing that I always did was project 3 years forward. When I started this opportunity back in 2017, if you talked to me in 2017, I talked to you about 2020. All right. 2020 was a thing that I talked about back in 2017, because I always have an idea of where it is that I'm going. Because when I know what the future looks like, it's easier for me to do the work that's required today. But if I don't know what tomorrow looks like, if I have a challenge identifying with my future self, then I won't be able to do the things that are required of me. Because you want to know why? Because you're going to have to go through something called the middle. Right? You're going to have to go through something called the middle. And the challenge for a lot of people is they have a problem with the mystery in the middle. Yeah, because they don't know what it looks like in the middle, because it's a mystery, and because they lack in the faith department, man, it's so hard for them to really fathom why they have to sacrifice, why they have to do the things that they have to do, because they haven't truly, again, identified with themselves. So it's the middle. They don't understand it. See, the mystery in the middle is where faith is needed the most. The mystery in the middle is where work is needed the most. The mystery in the middle is where your confession, your words are needed the most. When you don't know, when you don't understand, when you can't really see in totality how things are going to happen for you, how things are going to work out for you, that mystery in the middle, that's where you have to get to a point where you start believing the most, the mystery in the middle, right? Because again, you today versus you a year from now, there's a middle. You don't know what that looks like. You have no idea what the middle is going to look like for you. So because you don't know what's required of you, faith. Because you don't know what's required of you, belief. Because you don't know what is required of you, a confession of your words, something that you believe in your heart and you speak with your mouth. That's when you know you really believe. When I can believe it here and it's confirmed here, it's validated by my words, right? So for you to win big, right, in the second, going into the second half of the year, going into the summer months and all that, what you got to do, man, is you got to say, what am I going to give up to get to the next level? Because I know what I want. That's not the thing. See, here's what David said in conversation a while ago, and it's always in the back of my mind. He said, if something isn't happening in the physical world, it's because something is holding it up in spirit world. You want to write that down. If something hasn't happened for you in the physical world, it's because there's something holding it up in the spirit world. You don't know what that is, though. So it's on you to become one and identify what could be holding me up. What could be the thing that's stopping me in spirit to get to the next level? Is it my words? Is it the people that I'm hanging around? Because the people that I'm hanging around, they have a certain type of energy. They have a certain type of spirit. And one thing about a spirit, if I stand too close to you, the spirit that's on me, it'll get on you. That's the thing. You understand that, right? When you hang around people, that's why they say if you hang around 4 millionaires, you'll become the 5th. If you hang around 4 broke people, you'll become the 5th. Why? Because the spirit that's on them will find a way to get on you. The mindset that's on them, the mind is spiritual. So that's what I mean by that. The mindset that's on them is going to find a way to get on you. So you got to identify what is going to be the thing that I let go of, that I give up to go to the next level. You got to identify that. Because what if that was the thing that was stopping you from becoming a 6-figure earner? What if that was the thing that was stopping you from becoming a millionaire? What are you willing to give up to go up? Because everybody has goals, but everybody doesn't achieve them. Why doesn't everybody achieve them? Because everybody isn't willing to sacrifice, right? And sacrifice is so important because sacrifice is what gives your faith momentum. And that momentum in your faith is what allows miracles to manifest. No sacrifice, no momentum. No momentum, no manifestation. No sacrifice, no momentum. No momentum, no manifestation. So sacrifice is what precedes manifestation. Man. Sacrifice is what precedes manifestation. So what are you willing to sacrifice before the manifestation becomes a reality in your life? Because here's what you have to understand, ladies and gentlemen. There's nothing that you can want that's not already available. There's nothing that you can want that's not already here. And when you get to a point where you really, truly understand that there's nothing that I could possibly want, there's nothing that I could desire that's not already available on this earth for me. But if it's available, how do I bring it into my life? How does that manifest for me? Because like, it's no shortage of money. You know that, right? It's no shortage of people. It's no shortage of opportunity. There's no shortage of that. Me and my friend was talking the other day about how much money the government just gives away in all these different loans and grants. They just giving it away to people. So that lets me know that there is no shortage of money. It's out there. There's no shortage of people. There's 6.5, 7 billion people on the face of the earth. It's probably a couple 100,000 people that live in your area. Or a couple million people that live in your state, in your region. There's no shortage of people. There's no shortage of money. There's a shortage of belief. There's a shortage of sacrifice. There's a shortage of faith. There's a shortage of courage. There's a shortage of vision. That's what there's a shortage of vision. Like, do you still see? Do you still see? And when I say see, I'm not talking about with the eyes of your head. I mean, do you still see with the eyes of your hearts? Those eyes. Do you still see with the eyes of your hearts? Because the eyes in your head will lie to you. See, every time you open the back office, you see a lie. See, every time I open my back office, I know the back office is lying to me. Every time. Because it doesn't tell me the truth. It'll never tell me the truth. Even when I hit my goal, it still won't tell me the truth. So if it's not the eyes of my head, it has to be the eyes of my heart. It has to be when I close my eyes, do I still see where I'm going? Eyes that can look are common, but eyes that can see are rare. See, eyes in your head are common, but eyes of the heart are rare. Not many people have those. Not many people can look at somebody and not see the person, but they see the potential of the person. That's eyes of your heart, not eyes of your head. Not many people can look at opportunity and see opportunity in the opportunity. That takes eyes of your heart. But here's what you got to understand. It takes time, though. It takes so much time. The thing that you want, you should be so excited that you don't have it yet. Yeah, that'll resonate with you later. The thing that you want the most, you should be excited that you do not have it yet. There was something that I was looking to do right here recently, and something happened with it. And when it happened, I was talking to my mom, and my mom, she didn't sound down, but she didn't sound up either, right? And what I had to understand is that if it hasn't happened yet, it's because it's not supposed to happen yet. You may be ready, but you may not be ready. Oh my God. The physical you may be ready, the talent, the skill, showing the plan, all that, you may be ready, but you may not be ready. Rejection is God's protection. Rejection is God's protection. So if you're being rejected from something, it's okay. It just means you're not ready yet. If something isn't happening for you right now, it's because you're not ready yet. And that's okay. Like, that's perfectly fine. Like, when I got rejected from something that I was looking to do, I'm like, cool, I'm just not ready yet. Or that thing that I wanted wasn't the thing that God wanted me to have in that moment. And I'm okay with that. Want to know why? Because I know that it's already mine. I know that it's already available. There's no shortage of the thing that I'm looking for. It's already here. The challenge, watch this, right? Remember, all things are possible to those that believe. So can you still believe in the midst of adversity, in the midst of rejection, in the midst of things moving slow for you? Can you still believe when you're in the middle? Can you still believe when you're in the middle? Can you still believe when you start feeling a little bit of pain? Right? And sometimes pain may not be physical. Sometimes pain might be spiritual in your mind, that mental pain, that anxiety, that anxiousness. Why hasn't it happened for me yet type of pain? That's pain. But I'm here to tell you, the reason why it hasn't happened for you yet is because you're not ready yet. And that's so. Somebody drop "that's okay" in the chat. Just drop "that's okay" in the chat. You may not understand right now, but that's okay. Drop "that's okay" in the chat. Let me tell you why it's okay that you don't get it right now. Let me tell you why it's okay that it hasn't happened for you yet. Let me tell you why it's okay that you may feel a little rejection from your goal. Like, you got close and you got rejected. It didn't happen. You got 10 away, 5 away, 20 away, 30, whatever the number, that's okay. The reason why it's okay is because it's already done. You just got to keep working on you, keep crafting your skill. Because here's the deal. Like, the business is the business, but how you are in life, completely different. And sometimes things don't happen for you in business because you haven't got your life right outside of business. And when you begin to do that in every area, like, think about this. How can I want to make $10,000 a month, but I lack in the bank account department? That don't make any sense. Like, how can I want a new car, but I don't have a driver's license? Like, think about that. Like, why would things come to me if I'm not ready to receive them? Why would it? So that's what I mean. Like, you may think you're ready, but maybe you're not ready yet. And that's okay. I promise it's okay. And the reason why I know it's okay is because I know that it's already yours. It's all, like, there's nothing that's not available for you if you believe it. Like, this is how you make life simple. This is how you live a peaceful life. Right? Now, if you want to stress and worry and work extremely hard for something that's already yours and just do wait, like, I get it. It's cool. Like, you do that. But I believe in something called automatic success. I believe in something called sweatless wealth. I believe in something called, dare I say, the supernatural. And if you don't believe it, that's okay. Let me believe it for you. See, supernatural. Think about your natural life. Think about you in the natural right now. Natural. Super is above that, right? So whatever I believe in the supernatural has to manifest itself in the natural, because the supernatural reigns above the natural. So in my supernatural world, if I believe in my heart and confess with my mouth that every goal that I set is done for me, no matter what, no matter who get crazy, no matter who want to do X, Y, and Z, like I'm telling you, bro, like it don't matter. There's nothing that you can want that's not yours, that's not available. The challenge for a lot of people, like I just said earlier, there's a shortage of belief. There's a shortage of belief. But here's the thing I was supposed to tell you earlier when I was telling you drop that's okay in the chat. Here's why it's okay. Jesus replied, you do not realize now what I'm doing. Let me just pause for the cause right there. You don't know. It's okay that you don't know. Here's why it's okay that you don't know. Because his thoughts are above your thoughts. His ways are above your ways. I'm glad that God don't think like me. I'm so glad that God can see around the corner because I can only see to it. I'm so glad that, he can see further than I can see. I'm so glad that he does not think like me, because if God thought like me and the things that I wanted, he gave them to me today, I could blow it. That's why I don't have them yet. And you know how much humility it takes to say that? Miss Shari, it takes so much humility to recognize that you're not there yet. It takes so much humility to recognize that, yeah, I'm good, but I'm just not quite there yet. Because if I was there, I would have it. Like when you become the person, when you get to the spot, the doors open. I talked about this before. Think about Target. When you get to Target, when you get to their door, you don't have to force it open. You don't got to turn the knob. You just get to the spot and the door's open. That's how it is in the supernatural world as well. You just get to the right spot and the door's just open. So if the door hasn't opened for you yet to your next rank, to the business, to the money, to the relationship, to whatever, I just haven't gotten to the right spot yet. And that's okay. Here's why it's okay. Because right now, you may not understand. You may not know what he's doing. But later, you will. That's what it says. You do not understand what I'm doing right now, but later you will. What's later? You don't know. You don't know. Just know later. So if it hasn't happened for you yet, it's going to happen later. If next month gets here and it doesn't happen, it's going to happen later. 6 months go by and it still hasn't happened for you yet. Just know it's going to happen later. It's going to happen later because that's what it says. And this don't lie. Don't. So the thing that I want, if it hasn't happened for me yet, it's because I'm not ready yet. It's because there may be something holding up my physical blessing in the supernatural world. It may be something holding up my natural blessing in the supernatural world, in spirits. I'm going to read you something real quick. This just dropped in my spirit. Because we're talking about We're talking about things being held up in spirit. About to read you something. Okay. For we are not fighting against flesh and blood. Let me just pause right there. Flesh and blood is physical. Flesh and blood. So we're not fighting against flesh and blood, but against rulers and authorities of the unseen world, against mighty powers in the dark world and evil spirits in heavenly places. Man, for we're not fighting against flesh and blood, physical. I'm not fighting for something in the physical. I'm not fighting the back office. I'm not fighting people in my business. I'm not fighting, a rank. I'm not fighting any of that. I'm not fighting my relationship. I'm not fighting that, because it's not that. It's the spirit behind that. So what you're fighting against is the spirit, evil spirits. How do you drive out evil spirits? With your words, with your confessions, with your goals. That's how you do it. It's no secret. It's no secret. It's here. Your word. This is the most powerful tool you have to create. So this is the most powerful tool you have to create with your words. There's nothing that you can't create with your words. And the reason may step on some toes, but what if the reason why you're in your position that you're in right now in this moment is because you created it with your words 8 months ago, 9 months ago, 7 months ago? Because remember, we talked about it, manifestation takes time. So when you speak, it may not happen today, but it may happen later. So when you was complaining 8 months ago, it probably wasn't really showing up 8 months ago, but it may be showing up now because you created it 8 months ago. We're not fighting against physical, flesh and blood, people. You're not fighting people, you're fighting spirits. I'm sorry if that's too deep for you, but that's just what it says. And if it is a little bit too deep for you, like I always say, get your floating device and come on out here in deep waters with everybody else. Because this is what you got to understand, man, to not just be successful in business, but be successful in every single area of your life, because challenges just don't show up in business. Challenges show up at your workplace. Challenges show up at school. Challenges show up in your relationships. Here's what you got to understand about challenges. It's not the physical challenge that you're up against. It's the thing behind the physical challenge, which is spirit. Remember, anything that's being held up in the natural, there's because something is holding it up in the supernatural. That's what the text says. So understand, it's okay if, things aren't moving as fast as you would like them to. It's okay if you're feeling a little bit of pain, the mystery in the middle. It's perfectly fine. Today I was getting my tattoo, right? I just got my back of my thigh done. And as I was getting my tattoo today, for some reason, this joint was OD biting today, like crazy. I felt physical abuse today getting my tattoo, right? And so in the midst of me getting my tattoo, this is what I start to think about. I said, man, the final project of this tattoo is going to be so beautiful. It's going to be so epic. But the middle, this is painful. And that middle, that part between drawing the tattoo out, putting it on the skin, and the completion of the tattoo is the same way life is. Because it's easy for me to draw out the tattoo and put it on my skin, but it's not as easy to sit there and endure the pain as he's digging into my skin. That's kind of how life digs into you. The pain of that It's challenging. And I've had instances over the course of my life where the pain, as you see, I'm inked up, right? So I've had instances over the course of my life where the pain of the tattoo hurt so bad where I couldn't finish. And you'll be amazed at how many people live their life the same way. The pain of process hurts too bad, so they go back to the sideline. And then when they want to get back in the game, they got to start the process all over again. So I was willing to sit there and endure the pain of the tattoo because I was so in love with the final product. I was so in love with what it was going to look like when it was finished that I was willing to endure the pain that I had to sit there and endure it. Are you willing to endure the pain for your final picture? Are you willing to endure the pain for your final picture? I was willing to endure the pain for my final picture because I knew if I quit, and listen, don't think it was sweet. I almost tapped out. But here is when the revelation, Miss Tanji, really hit me. When the tattoo began to hurt the most, it was an indicator that the artist was almost done. Oh, yeah. See, when the tattoo was hurting the most, like those last 10 minutes, and I'm laying on my stomach, so I can't see what he's doing. I can't see what he was doing. Just how you can't see what God is doing. But soon you will understand. And when it starts to hurt the most, when the pain becomes unbearable, when the thoughts become unbearable, that means you're getting closer and closer to it being finished. I'm telling you, I was laying there those last 10 minutes. I ain't said nothing for 5 hours straight. But those last 10 minutes, I'm cussing. I'm like, bruh, how much longer we got? Like, talk to me. He said, bro, we almost there. But I can't see what's going on behind me. I just had to trust the voice. I just had to trust the voice. But what if you can't hear the voice, the right voice, because the other voices are clouding up your ear? Yeah, I couldn't see the process of my tattoo getting done. I just had to trust the voice. Like, you don't know the mystery in the middle. You just got to trust the voice. Because that voice, like I said earlier, thoughts higher than your thoughts, ways higher than your ways. Drop a 777 in the chat if you believe that God created the heavens and the earth and you believe he created lights. Chat blowing up right now. Thoughts higher than your thoughts, ways higher than your ways. Listen to this. Remember, you may not understand today, but soon, since we got IM3 coming up, it'll all make sense. It'll all make sense. And it may not make sense to you today because your small little mind can't comprehend, can't understand in totality the wisdom of God. I was reading my Bible one day. I was reading Genesis about how God created the heaven and the earth. He created light. Do you want to know the thought that came across my mind? Here's what the thought was. How did God create light if light had never been seen before? How did he create light if light had never been seen before? That's what you call infinite wisdom. He created things that had never been seen before. Infinite wisdom. So if he can create if he can create things, light, water, none of this stuff had been seen before when he created it. It was out of his infinite wisdom that he created it. Why would it be hard for you to believe that he can create something just abnormal, magnificent, supernatural in your life if a lot of the things that you want, you already have seen them? Yeah, I see you caught that, Leon. If he can create light from nothing, water from nothing, animals, people from nothing, no point of reference, none. Think about what you want. Think about what you want. There's a point of reference there. Whatever you want, somebody's already probably doing it. So why would I trip? Don't make any sense. Don't make any sense. But that's what you call infinite wisdom. So you may not understand, you may not see how it's going to work out for you, but just understand that if he created from nothing, imagine what he can create from something. You're already here. You're already available. You're already working. You're already showing the plan. You're already in the trenches. You're here. You're present. You're available. You're not nothing. If he can create from nothing, what can he create when somebody gives him something to work with? What you giving God to work with? Here's the only thing that he needs to work with: your faith. Here's why. He supplies the vision. He only needs your faith. The vision that you have is not yours. He gave it to you. The only thing that you got to supply is your faith. Now, if I have true faith, then guess what follows that? Action. I can't say I have faith if I'm not taking action. So action is like, if you have faith, then you have action. So I shouldn't have to say action, because the only time you see people taking action is because they have faith in something. That's why they take action on it. If I don't have any action, if I don't have any faith, I won't take any action. Does that make sense? Like, think about the reason why you haven't hit chairman yet, or the reason why you haven't started doing the work that's required to go chairman yet, is because you don't believe that you're a chairman. Anybody that believes that they're a chairman, they work like it. You hear how AB is doing 18 presentations this week? It's because he believes that he's a chairman. So he's really doing the work that a chairman would do because he has faith. And so, because like your goals don't happen for you because of your work. I need you to really get this. No goal happens for you because of your work. No good thing comes to you because of anything that you do. It's only because of your faith. Faith is the door that unlocks grace. Everything that you have today, the breath that you're using to breathe right now, that's what you call grace. You know, somebody didn't wake up this morning and they was healthy just like you, but they didn't wake up. Now, how many people got in car accidents today and you was in your car? Yeah, that's grace. No good thing that happens to you is anything to do with you. It's God's grace. That's it. And that should make you so excited, as I always say, because no thing that I have is because of me. It's because of the grace. So that means that the same results that I've been able to have in my life, you can do even greater, because it's not me doing it. It's grace. And so because I believe that grace is available, I supply my faith. And because I supply my faith, I take action. I work. I don't even know how many flight miles I have this year. I've flown more this year than some people have flown in their entire lifetime. 3 lifetimes. And guess what? Even all of that work that I do, all those flights, any goal that I get is not because of my flights. It's not because I travel. God just chooses to bless me. Why? Grace. How do you get grace? Faith. I'm telling you, man, this stuff works. The supernatural works. But here's what I would tell you. You know what your life looks like without really embodying and walking in what I'm talking about. You know what your life looks like, without a doubt. What do you think your life will look like if you actually started listening to what's being said? Not what I'm saying, but what's being said. Maybe you will catch that. Not what I'm saying, but what's being said. Everything that you want is already here. You just got to supply the faith, walk in it every day, do the work, show the plan. This business is so simple. So simple. And it can change everything about your life, but you got to let it through your actions, through your work, and through your faith. I'm telling you, it's going to all work out for you because it says that it will. You may not see what I'm doing, you may not understand, but soon you will. Later, you will. You don't know when later is. You just got to keep believing that it's going to show up later if it hasn't shown up today. Tomorrow get here and it still hasn't shown up. I know it's coming. Next month get here, it'll be here later. 2 months go by, it'll be here later. And you just keep believing and keep believing and keep believing because all things are possible to those that believe. So if nothing can stop me from believing, then nothing can stop me from manifesting. And with that being said, I love you all. And I will see you guys at the beaches and the banks, definitely in the yams at IM3. Hope you guys got value. God bless.